Hello everyone, whoever is watching this. This is the training for the Hidden Rainbows experiment, also known as radial chromatography. My name is Ben Renwick. I'm the STEM coordinator in Pittsburgh, so this is a video for the Newark site, trying to help them out with some demonstrations here of this experiment. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to move the camera around a little bit as well, just to let you know that I may be shifting things back and forth so you can see some visuals right here in front of me as well. So for this experiment, this is an experiment with chromatography. If you have the printout as well, just kind of follow right along what's going on. I'm really just going to go over some tips to make this easier, especially when you're doing this in kind of a setting for community people as they're coming around to like a booth sort of station, just to give you some tips to make things a little bit easier, especially if you're getting a multitude of people coming through. So the chromatography is obviously the separation of mixtures, and what this experiment really is finding out if the color black is really black. And so as you can see right here, these are a variety of black markers that we use. Make sure that you're using water-based markers to do this. Some of these brands here you can find in your local store, but really the collection that we've gotten here in Pittsburgh is just based on testing ones and finding out how well they separate. It's cool to kind of find out the different colors that will come out of these. So again, just make sure they're water-based. You could probably find some good ones online as well. Feel free to send me a message and I can give you the specific ones that we use as well. But so those are the markers that we use for this. But really what you do for this experiment is I tend to have these sorts of things set up in preparation. I'm gonna move this a little bit so you can see better. So inside of here are water cups, and you can see there's a wick in there as well. So these are patterns that are already being created on this. So I basically have a setup of these cups all ready to go with water in them. This is only probably about 30 to 40 cc's or 30 to 40 milliliters that's inside of there. And so it makes it easier because when the kids come up, or whoever's doing these, they make their creation, they stick the wick through the top of it, and I'll show that here in just a minute. And then they can just kind of let the water go ahead and wick up through to get to the creation there. So I'm gonna set those back off to the side here. This is kind of what we start with though. We start with this blank paper. This is actual filter paper that we have here in our labs that we've been able to use for this. And so what we do is we actually have the big pack that it comes in. Honestly, I just take a drill ahead of time and I drill a hole right through the middle of this instead of poking holes through every single one of these. So I use a power drill to just drill through the whole thing, makes it a lot easier. So these are all set, ready to go. So that's your filter paper. I'll show you another method later on that you can use as well. Once you have your filter paper, then you want to get a nice absorbent paper towel, and I cut into these triangles here. Is about the size of them, because then what you do is you eventually kind of roll them up into a nice long wick. So you make it like that, and I'm going to show you a pattern that I made of a design. So again, this is all black, and I put a variety of the markers on here. It's a really cool design. What you'll see on the worksheet there is just some dots around the center, which it works perfectly fine. But this is a cool way to see a variety of colors are in it. Kids can make some different colors or some different patterns, something that looks really cool for them. So once you have your pattern, then you stick the wick right down through it. Just as such, and then you go ahead and place in the cup here. This is one that was already finishing up. Set this off to the side. Then you go ahead and stick it right down in the cup. Make sure that the wick's touching the water, and then it will go ahead and soak up through. And you can read about the science behind everything of how it works. Basically, it's going to be able to pull it through capillary action. Same thing with the filter. It's going to be able to filter itself out and go through all the colors, and you'll get a nice pattern on there. So let me show you a couple examples that you can see on here. These are ones that have separated out the whole way through. You can see the different colors that are on there. Here's one that got some like a variety of like pinks and stuff as well. What you'll notice is all the colors go out to the end, and the markers actually stay on the edge here. So what I also recommend is once they are inside these cups, just pull the wick out and go ahead and just let it dry on top of the cup. Otherwise, you're going to be getting marker stains or whatever on the table that you're using. So again, it just helps save with the mess, makes things go a lot quicker. And then they'll probably go for about a good 5 to 10 minutes till the color separates the whole way out. You can I mean, people can come back and get them when they're midway through. I've had people do that before. But if you let them go the whole way, then the whole paper will go out. Let them dry here, and then people can come back. They just remember the pattern that they did, and then you go from there. So these are a collection of ones of some colors that separated out, as you can see as well. So again, just placing here on the cup to let it dry towards the end. Another method you could use instead of those filter papers is just regular coffee filters. This is one that I did. It might be hard to see the color separation, but I used a coffee filter and did a design on it. And then just took a spray bottle, filled it up with water and just misted it just very briefly. And so you can see the separation of colors through there. So that's another method you can use if you don't have access to coffee filters like these. So this is another good way that you can do that as well, okay? Another experiment that I'm going to share with you guys, I'm going to send these things in a PDF file, the experiments, the hidden rainbows experiment. The other one is actually called splitting an M&M. And what it is, it actually dissolves the shell and the color off of the M&M, and then they separate out into this petri dish. And what's really cool is once the colors come close to one another, they don't cross over, and that's you can read in there the differences about it and how you can actually design a little bit of an experiment through it as well. But the different concentrations of the sugars, they don't mix to one another because they're essentially the same. So you'll be able to see in the picture in there as well. But I'm going to send that to you guys. A couple other links as well that can be helpful for you for those experiments. Just things that are quick and easy to set up, a good visual representation, and it's a quick, easy talk about it as well. All right, guys, you have my email. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any other questions. Hope everything goes well. Thanks.